This is my third and final Spookoplathon of the season. I'm actually a little bit ahead in the future because there was a deleted clip from the last vlog. I had some books returned to me and I had a clip talking about how I gotten them back and I was adding them to the stack to let you know that they were part of the TBR stack that I'm using for Spookoplathon. If you don't know about my TBR for Spookoplathon, it's in my first vlog and I'm kind of just going in order without much explanation, so I would start there. I deleted the scene because it didn't feel relevant in the moment and it was just getting really long. It became relevant. Instead of trying to find the footage, I'm just going to go over books that were returned to me. First is Rouge by Mona Awad. This is the same author as Bunny and is beauty horror. Very autumnal, very on brand. The next book is Empire of the Vampire. This is a chunker and was actually DNF'd by one of my friends and returned. They made it about that far. Then finally, I was also returned DNF'd Houseofleaves by Mark Danielewski. I wouldn't know how to describe this book except for that my friend said, never mind, have it back. One of these books is incredibly relevant to this vlog, and so I wanted to make you aware in case you have been following along and you go, wait a minute, that wasn't in vlog 1. No, it wasn't, and it was deleted from vlog 2. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the roles and get into this vlog because this is definitely the last one of the season. Okay, here are my dice. I last left off on dice roll roulette, which ended up leading me to an education in malice, so I'm feeling good about that. I have these Pokemon on here because the board is a bit battle worn. She's had to be shoved in my closet several times for movie night, so just ignore that. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seance. I don't remember what that one is. 1 second. So it looks like Seance is to use a random letter generator, and then from the letter I have to find a book where the title begins with that letter. Let's go ahead and get a random letter generator going. H. Oh, okay, I have things with H. I'll be back. POV. You've just watched the dice footage and you're wondering, what H book will I possibly choose? Is it The Hedge Witch of Fox Hall? I wish, but it starts with the, and so I kind of excluded it. They didn't say Hedge Witch of Fox Hall, they went with The Hedge Witch. And that's fair, but that makes it not an H book, no matter how much I'd love it to be. The next one is a possibility. I just read Crown of Feathers, Heart of Flames by Nikki Paopreto. This is the second book. It's a chonker, but I know I loved the first one and I could read the second. That's circular. That would be nice. However, we are about a week and a half out from Halloween. This just is not the Halloween book I would want to read. I want to feel a little bit of terror. I want to be a little uncomfy while also getting cozy for Halloween. This is not the book. There is only one more H book and it was new, and that is Houseofleaves by Mark Danielewski. I actually only know fear about this book. That's not true. I know a couple more things about it. I know that it is meant to be satire and that it's academic satire, but it's also horror. It's academic satire and horror. I know that it's a house that is smaller outside than it is inside, and that people either love it or hate it. I don't know why they love it or hate it. I just know that inside it's got some very interesting pages and that the author made really interesting choices. I don't know if they were good ones. I don't actually know if I'm going to like this. As far as my friend was concerned, she didn't like it at all. She was done. She did not want it anymore. With that preview in, I'm gonna be reading this. I also want to say that is my only dice roll. I'm just reading this book up until Halloween and then I'm done. I don't want to read anymore. I've been reading a lot lately and I feel like this one's probably gonna do me in. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and crack this open tonight while I still have a chance to like read and relax and kind of get as much as I can get done so that I can read throughout the week without like the pressures of trying to get it finished in time. That's the game plan, and I'll see you for an update for how it's going. Contents is weird. Is this real? Not the book, but the editor's forward? Is that? Okay. I have read 15 pages and I am not on page 1. But here's what I know. A dude named Johnny found records of an account of someone's house, like of an incident at someone's house. But the records are from someone who's blind and is listening to the film tapes of the person who was originally in the house. There are footnotes, but they're in different fonts, several different sets of footnotes. I'm trying to make this sound coherent, and I'm realizing that this is going to actually be difficult. This is what I thought it would be, which is painful. Hold on, let me collect my thoughts. Nope, I looked back at my notes, there is no collecting my thoughts. So there's the Navidson? It feels like it should be Davidson, but it's Navid, like with an N. Navidson. Oh, and there's also a man named Zappano. I think that the thoughts are actually Zappano's thoughts on the Navidsons. I need time. What is this book talking about? I've been having to use a piece of paper to read some of these lines because the font is so close together and I have wave dyslexia, which I did know going into this that would be a harrowing experience. I am deciding to do this anyway. I don't know why. Okay, I'm trying to give you like a first account and I feel like I'm not even getting there. I mean, I'm not the most like succinct vlogger out there, but I'm like trying to give you my basic rundown, and I wish I had tabs because I want to tab certain things. I don't have tabs. I feel like I'm going into this book at a disadvantage on several different accounts, one of them being a lack of tabs. So I might pick up tabs, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to until like Thursday. Hopefully I'll be halfway through this book by Thursday. I'm going to try and give a character rundown. So we have Johnny, Zappano. There's some random other people too, and I don't know if they're important, but maybe not. I don't know. Hold on, let me check my notes. Okay, so there's the person who lived in this house, a family who lives there now, Zappano, who is the person that's blind and retelling family's story, and then there's Johnny Truant, who is trying to publish the story that Zappano... No, there's also some editors, and you know, let me just be real quick. The editors, I don't know how much editing the editors are doing. I don't even think the editors are real. I don't even think it's the real editors of this book. I don't even know if real editors touched this book. I don't know an editor that would. Was there any other takeaways? Do I have any other notes? The house is blue. Not the, well, I don't, the house itself might actually be blue, but the font for the word house is blue, but it's not just on this page. It says by Zappano, introduction by Johnny Truant, but this is the actual author, and I'm... Every page of this book, every time the word house is mentioned, where is it? House. It's blue. So is the house blue? Is that what I'm supposed to get out of this? Is there more? That's not even English. I don't know why, but it is unnerving in the fact that I am looking at black font and then there's blue randomly. It's also messing with my dyslexia, like, horrendously. My eye will go to it immediately. Boom, 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 even if I'm over here. Shout out to me in the future when I'm cross-eyed. Real sorry to her. I spent this morning reading Houseofleaves, and I am not very far in. I don't know. I've been reading a lot. So what's happening in the story? Well, one of the stories, main story, I guess, the story that everyone's focused on, the Navidson house. The Navidsons found a door that was in the hallway that wasn't originally there, and then there... Sorry, a lot of things have happened, but not in like a sequence. I don't know which order to tell you them in, but there's a door. This led to a series of questions because like the door was not there before. It's like a portal door, but it's not quite a portal door. It's also the wrong measurements. I know that that doesn't sound significant, but the inside of the house, the door is one size, and it's not, the door is not, what? No, I got this. I can explain this. They found a door in the hallway, and it didn't really make sense that the door was there. Doing measurements inside the house and outside the house, they figured out the outside of the house is different measurements than the inside. There was a 1/4 of an inch discrepancy. Outside of the house would be a 1/4 of an inch smaller than the inside. Like, they're doing more tests and experiments and taking pictures to try and get it, and it's not working. It doesn't make sense. It like leaves off with, I guess you could call it a cliffhanger. Karen, the wife, lets out a scream because they thought that they'd solved the problem. The anomaly of the fraction ended up still being an issue. So then I turned to the next chapter, and it's an entire essay on echoes. We're not continuing the story. We're not even addressing the issue. It is, how many pages? It's hard to say because there's some hopping. I read an entire essay on echoes. There was also something I thought was interesting was the definition of uncanny, which I know the definition of uncanny and I can use it in a sentence. Maybe not today, but on a good day. To feel out of place or displaced, an unhome-like quality and not feeling at home, a subtle discomfort in where you are that you just can't quite place. And it did feel uncanny. The discrepancy with a 1/4 of an inch isn't sinister, but it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be happening. It's not malevolent. It's not an evil thing, like one of the kids didn't get hurt or anything like that. It just doesn't work. I got to the end of Echoes. Oh my god. I read this whole damn thing, and it gets to the end, and Johnny, who's the one that's going through all of this and kind of like trying to turn it into a book, his notes at the end of Echoes, after you've read all of Echoes, is, gosh, probably should have skipped it. Sounds like it's not important. No! It was too long. You know when a prank goes too far? You know when mischief isn't fun anymore? Is when you spend your entire morning reading about freaking Echoes, only to learn that you probably should have skipped it. And I kept on waiting for it to be relevant. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm gonna go for a walk, and then I am not reading anything else but this book, so I have the choice of either reading, doing something productive with my day. So I'm gonna go touch grass. That's my update. Okay, great. Thank you. I just went through like 6 different haunted houses that the students made. One of them was literally just a completely haunted looking room and then a desk, and then you had to solve kanji. You had to solve like kanji riddles, and it was just writing kanji. At the end, it looks like you're about to go into a haunted house, but it's actually the exit, and they just said nothing's scarier than kanji. These children are brilliant. Hello. I got out of work and I haven't wanted to update this vlog. I don't want you to ask me what this book is about. I mean, I could try. It's maybe about a descent into madness. I should not be as far as I am in while saying this. Sorry, let me put you on a tripod because my arm's getting tired. There you go. Better, right? I'm wondering if this is like, okay, have y'all seen The Room by Tommy Wiseau? That's supposed to be satire. That's satire, but it's maybe not. Like, does Tommy Wiseau know it's satire? We don't know, but it played on Adult Swim for like 24 hours backwards when I was in high school, and like, it was a phenomenon. Is Tommy, is this satire only to people who are reading it? Like, does Mark know it's satire? Like, who is unraveled here? This book is fucking with me, and I don't usually swear on the internet just because I just don't want to hear about it. Let me just tell you that that's what's happening. I'm being fucked with. I'm trying to explain what I'm talking about because I don't want to like go through this and just be like, oh, I don't know what's happening like the whole time. I want to actually give like thoughts or opinions or like, I don't know, an analysis. This book makes me think I should be giving an analysis. I've read so many essays. I feel like I'm reading this with deteriorating stamina. Like, I started on page 1 and it was immediately like, bam, let's cut your legs off and then see how you do. I have read so much. I'm saying so much, but it's like I'm less than 100 pages in. I shit you not. I have been reading this nonstop. It's the only book I'm reading. I have plenty of downtime at work right now because we're doing festival stuff. This shouldn't be happening. This is not the progress I've made. I've read more than this because there's some in the back, but then you have these moments like this. Like, hold on. Let me show you this page. This is the page I started this chapter and then I went, no, never mind. I need to get home first because I was at work and I was reading this at my desk. I have like another 30 or so minutes before I have to leave. I'll get more done. I read this page and then I started on this page, but it says, Reston said much later in the Reston interview, just look at his CV. Never for a moment did I suspect he was capable of that. 85. That's footnote 85. I know I'm supposed to read the footnotes. So I go down to footnote 85. See Exhibit 4 for the complete transcript of the Reston interview. So then you go to the end of the book to exhibits. These are laid out. Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, Exhibit 3, Exhibit 4, okay? I'm following the instructions. So this is now reading the rest of the footnote from page 81. Footnote 84. Reproduce all facsimiles of the Reston interview and the last interview, 429. I go down to 429. Missing. That's the end. That's the end of that footnote. And then I see missing down here on this page. So I'm going, how many things are just missing? And how many times do I have to go all the way to find which ones are missing? And I'm so terrified of skipping things because I don't know what will make me dumb by the end, because if I skip it, I won't understand something. Like, I'm not a skimmer. I have to read every single word or I'll miss the whole point. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. I'm going to go eat dinner now. Sorry if you can hear my partner in the background. He likes to play guitar in between cooking, so when he's waiting for things to boil. If you can hear guitar in the background, that's why. Also, sleepy time tea, because we're having dinner a little late tonight. I came to talk to you about the book. There isn't an order to the madness. That would be going a bridge too far. But there is now some understanding after Johnny's mother's letters, which you don't even know who Johnny is? Like, I mean, to an extent. He's the guy that's kind of writing this book, sort of. I don't know. The letters were very, very sad. Let me just say that right off the bat. But they were also, to say that they helped the book make sense is wrong. But they did make Johnny, who makes no sense, make a little bit more sense. Nobody's going to know what I'm talking about. Why am I doing this? It's too late. I'm already in it. Like, I'm doing it. This is my vlog, but like, this is my vlog. Like, I can't really spoil it. Like, I could tell you what the letters said, but I will say content warnings, definitely, for sexual assault. While we're on content warnings, there's also content warnings, I mean, for mental health, as well as some of mine, such as suicide, but I was just told my content warning is on page 643, which is suicide specific to hanging, so kind of know what this letter says without reading it. There might be more to the letter. I'm not here to torture myself. Obviously I am, because I'm reading this book. I'm not here to do that to myself, so I'm just skipping the contents of that letter. I am sure it's really intriguing and interesting. You guys can tell me all of the things that have nothing to do with my content warning. As a spoiler, you can tell me all about it. However, the page I'm talking about, like, you don't actually, it's not on page. Where is it? Where is it? Because there's like a lot going on. These are really sad. I'm laughing because I'm just like, what the hell? But also it's not funny. Like the letters section is not funny. It's very heavy. I like just read this. Where is it? No. It's like 74 pages. I'm not even joking. And some of them are this. That's one of her letters. This is one of her letters. Here it is. This is it. This is the freaking letter. So in one of her letters that she sends by like some secret nurse, she tells him that her next letter is going to be her real letter, and to pay attention, I will encode as follows. Use the first letter of each word to build subsequent words and phrases, which it was kind of the seance prompt that got me into this book in the first place. Thanks, Becca. This letter starts off with dearest everything and remarkably elegant seraphims, truth, Johnny, oh heavens nearing you. But because you read the other letter, you know that really D in dearest, E in everything, A in and, R remarkably, E in elegant, S in seraphim, T as in truth spells out dearest. So now you've got dearest Johnny O heavens nearing you. That's Johnnny. Johnny. Dearest Johnny is how the letter begins. Tell Hope everything you hear and value every they have. It continues on like that for the entire letter and does have a content warning for sexual assault. It's crazy though, because if I just read the letter, they hope everything you hear and value every find outward understanding near day at windows and you're told over by reptopathic elephants announcing karmic meddling ends. This is why I'm not skipping anything. I would have tried to look for a cipher or some sort of information within this letter, but it was on a different page in a different letter. A very small, normal looking letter. One that seemed not important. I'm so tired. Just using Instagram to read my book because it's backwards. Page numbers don't matter. So I could tell you which page I'm on because I am on page 137. I'm on page 137. What day is it? I have read more than 200 pages of this book. There's no way. I'm reading things backwards. I'm using Instagram filters in order to take pictures of pages and read them. Who does this? Why am I the one that's doing this? Okay, what I can do now though, because I have read over 200 pages of this book and I'm only 130 something in, I can give a better explanation of the story than I did originally. Was that lightning? Is this book haunted? I can give a better explanation of this book than I could before. I'm going to be referring to my notes. I just don't want to get this any more wrong than it probably already is. My initial thoughts, my first thoughts about this book, now that I can actually talk about it a little bit. Pages don't matter, as I said, but the plot, as far as the plot goes. So the Navidson records, which are films, happen. Okay, I'm coming back to that. The films, which are VHS films, VHS tapes and such, are found by a man named Zappano. Zappano is a deaf man who finds the tapes and is listening to them and making notes on what happens. Okay, so now we are a degree of separation from the Navidson files. Is making notes on what happened or what he thinks happened based off of him listening to these tapes. So what he thinks happens is this. This is what's in the Navidson files, original like tapes. He thinks, I thinks. These are my notes. The Navidson family lives in a house, but the inside is bigger than the outside. The Navidsons find a door that leads outside, but when the husband goes around the house outside of it, there is no door inside. So the door is not a two-way door. It's like a portal or a labyrinth into the depths of this house. The explorations of this start, and so does the horror book. So the horror story happens once we are delving into the depths of this house, into this door to the outside that does not go outside of their house, it's further inside of this house. Uncanny does not quite cover how it feels to be in this space. So that's what's happening within the Davidson files. So we are now reading and understanding all of this from Zappano's notes, but Zappano went mad and then died. So it's actually Johnny who is trying to piece this all together to publish a book. So he has found Zappano's notes. Johnny, the guy who is not all there, he's unwell, definitely unwell. So yeah, Johnny is trying to publish a book based off of Zappano's notes. However, Johnny has footnotes throughout the story that are tangent level like nonsense. Sometimes they're gross, sometimes they have nothing to do with the subject matter. A lot of time they have nothing to do with the subject matter. Sometimes they're funny. Legitimately, I will like smirk or laugh or kind of like just be like, what? I just, yeah, I can't help but laugh, and I do know it's satire, so I'm just like, okay, I'm supposed to laugh? I'm laughing. Am I supposed to laugh? I don't know. But they are all of his footnotes, for better or for worse, are utter nonsense, and you can't skip them. He is piecing all of Zappano, blind man's notes, together to try and make the coherent story that is the Davidson Records original transcripts. Like, he doesn't have the files, he only has Zappano's notes. He doesn't have all of the resources. Everyone has one degree of separation from what's happening, and then their own set of resources, which is only like the hearsay of the last person. Which makes me like the fourth degree of separation, which is like a meta wall break, but I don't know. I don't even know if that's actually what's happening. I am also the unreliable narrator in this story. There's the twist. But there's also so many things, like when I flip through pages, it gives me anxiety because I'm skipping sections. I'm following the directions. In order to get to the set of directions, I have to skip through so many pages, and I'm like, wait, don't I need to read this first? No you don't, maybe. So I'm feeling a little, uncanny is a good word, but I feel like there's a stronger one out there. I tried using a mirror earlier. I didn't catch it on tape. Digitally, I didn't catch it on camera, not tape. It's very immersive. But I did try and do this with a mirror, and I could not. Y'all, I have dyslexia. I can't do this. I can't keep doing this. Is spatial horror. The characters don't know where they are or where they're going. I don't know where they are, but they're waiting for me to turn the book upside down and then flip the pages to figure it out. Like, it doesn't matter how I hold this book up, because this is correct. If I held this book up like this for the rest of this video, this would be fine. This would be accurate. The house keeps changing, but it's still more coherent than Johnny. The Houseofleaves is a cerebral attack. I can't decide if a pretentious dude wrote this book to make me feel stupid or to make fun of pretentious people for feeling smart for reading this. But I'm definitely the former. I feel dumb. I feel like I haven't updated you on life at all or what's going on because I've been taking my time to actually read this, take notes, try and give an understanding of what's happening, or like give some sort of review. I don't know why I even bothered, but it's too late now. Regret is irrelevant. I am going out to Nagoya tonight. We are going to a few clubs, having some drinks, celebrating Halloween. I'm gonna bring out my devil costume again, so take that out to the city instead of the countryside. It should be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know in what state tomorrow I will be to update, but we aren't staying the night, so I will be coming back late tonight on the last train. I don't have plans for tomorrow. I guess these are my plans for tomorrow because I want this out before Halloween. Like, I feel like this won't hit the same in November, but I also don't know how I'm going to get this done in time. I'm unaware of how this is going to work, but I'm trying to make it work, so I'm just reading as much as I can. But I'm sorry, I don't know what I I don't know what my purpose for this vlog is, except for to finish this book. This was one of my 2024 books. This was on a list of goals to complete. Not lifetime goals, but just for this year. And I mean, we're only 2 months out and some change from the end of the year, so it'd be nice to actually complete this so that I can check it off my list for 2024. Is the reward worth it? If you've read this book, is the reward worth it? Hopefully by the end of this, I can say whether it's worth it or not. For a lot of people, this wouldn't be worth it. I'm not even sure if it's worth it for me. Like, it's not quite buyer's remorse, but it's like time remorse. It's a, what is that called? You've spent so much time on it. I'm gonna go ask my partner. He'll know the word I'm trying to think of. Whatever word I'm trying to think of right now, it's that. Sunk cost fallacy. That's what's happening to me right now. Sunk cost time fallacy. There's no ending this. I have to continue. Hi. I had a lot of tequila last night and a lot of fun. However, nobody else is awake. It's about 8 a.m. I have been reading this for about an hour now. It's kind of beautiful how immersed I am. Like, talking to the camera doesn't really feel real because I was just reading this, and it's not the same as when I read all of the books I really love and enjoy. It's different than that, but it's very immersive. If you're reading this, then you kind of just go in. This is taking so much of my headspace. I'm also really tired. Like, I'm not hungover, but I'm tired. My apologies. I probably shouldn't have picked up the camera as well as not having read this. Also, I look terrifying. I've been reading The Science of This House, still in the book, have not finished yet, for hours? Like, on and off all day, for hours. This book is literally never going to end. My friends keep asking me what I'm reading, and I'm like, oh, it's a haunted house book, because those are the words I know in Japanese. The haunting here is that I'm reading this book and it's never going to end. But I don't want to skip anything, because then it will feel like I read all those pages I should have skipped for nothing. I think that's my only update right now. This was infuriating. It felt like I was trying to thread a needle and that the end of the thread was frayed. It was almost like nauseous and like tingly, but it was also collecting thoughts. Once more. The middle of this book was immersive. I think that that is a really good way to describe a large portion of this book. The middle not meaning technically the middle. It's really hard to say where the middle is. It was immersive and I was in it. Like it felt almost like a meditative state of flipping through the pages. Once you know what you're doing and you know how to follow the directions, you were almost expecting it, and then it'll do something uncomfy to you so that you don't actually feel like you know what you're doing anymore. And that goes back to the whole uncanny thing of it just being like subtly not your home. You can't get comfortable in the way you'd want to because something isn't quite right. But as you get closer to the finish, it slows down to a crawl, but you can tell it's on purpose. Like, that's the satire. It's making you feel how the characters are feeling, but in a different way than you normally would assume that means in a book. It's fucking with you on purpose. It is a troll. Mark is a troll. He's impish. He does things to you because he knows how the story will flow and he knows what he's doing with it, and then he does it to you while describing what he's doing to you in a different context. There's a scene in this book where a character is trying to get out of the house and they can't. They see the exit, they see the way out, and the faster they run, the further away the exit becomes. That's what it was in the latter half of trying to get this book finished. Not the story. That's not what was happening in the story. It was what was happening to the reading process. I wasn't able to read the book fast anymore after having just been able to read it fast, which is nauseating, especially when I'm physically reading the book as fast as I can. Like, I'm sitting down, I'm taking the time, my eyes are moving. I'm not cross-eyed at the end of this. That's a relief. Didn't see that coming. That character trying to get to the exit is you. The book is mimicking that experience for you. I do decree this is horror. I do agree that this is horror, but I also think that it's sad fiction. I know that that's not a genre, but I feel like I don't know another way of explaining it. Like, it's sad. There's really sad points in this and really upsetting parts. I feel like I almost compartmentalized it because you're experiencing different things besides sadness. You sit in that and then you kind of move on. I don't know, that sounds messed up. Like, there are content warnings in this book that you should definitely check. All the things you a lot of the times find in horror, I kept kind of forgetting to talk about that. Like, I stopped and paused with the letters, but that was not my first instinct. It was to talk about the experience of reading them, and then I had to circle back and be like, wait, something horrible is happening in the book, not just to me. I would say that in this book, there's two different things happening. There's the Navidson records, which is a horror story, and then there's Johnny's situation, and like in another way Zapanos, but like the outer shell, not really satire either. The entire book is satire. Reading the book is satire. Johnny's sections are more of a character piece. I think I didn't love it. I think I'm also giving it 5 stars though. I feel unhinged saying that. Like, this is not one of my favorite books. Like, I'm not putting this next to Strange the Dreamer and Raven Cycle series and like Rage of Dragons. That's not what this 5-star is. It just is. I don't love it. I don't love this book. It is 5 stars maybe? Oh god. You know what? No. To stand up for myself. I need healthy boundaries. Yeah. You know what? I'm taking a star off for spite and self-preservation. Cause like, I'm not gonna just recommend this to people. I mean, I might recommend this vlog and be like, does this sound good to you? And then they can decide from there, but I'm not gonna just like, they would hate me. Oh, you like this? Maybe you like Houseofleaves. Like that. No, I'm not gonna just like thrust this experience upon someone. They can find it themselves. I also think one of the reasons I one of the reasons why this was an experience that I don't regret this experience is I'm kind of a workaholic, but I like to do. I like to create, I like to make, I like to find things. If I'm doom scrolling, it's through educational pieces or, you know, trying to find out about an interesting fact about reptile scales or something like that. To do deep dive exploration, I like to do kind of nitty-gritty work. I like to work. I did kind of enjoy the process of having to work for this. And it was because I just kind of gave in once I realized my sunk cost fallacy. I realized like I was just going to be reading this now and that was my life, and so I should just accept it. And once I did that, things went fine. Not well, but fine. I think I genuinely would agree with someone who gave this a 1 star. If they sat here and told me I gave it a 1 star and listed any reason, and I'd be like, yeah, no, that's valid. I could also understand a 5. Both answers are unhinged. I'm not going to judge the way people deal with small t trauma. Don't do this unless you want to physically and cerebrally exhaust yourself. That's not to say I won't ever read this again in the future or watch a whole bunch of random deep dive videos after this, but for now, I'm done. I did this. I did leave little marks in this book to add tabs later. The leaves was fun, which I thought looked like visually cool, but I also really need those as bookmarks for other books, and I didn't want to use all of them because I don't know where to find more, and it would take a bushel of my bookmarks to leave leaves all throughout this. So I might eventually go through, retab sections I marked with a friction pen because I don't want to read this ever again. But I might. I don't know. We're not talking about that right now. This is unhealthy. Here. Yeah. Further away now. I'm sane. But I might definitely watch deep dive YouTube videos on it. For sure. If you have any that you find really fun, or if you have read this book before and you have anything interesting that you want to tell me about, just go ahead and mark a spoiler if you think it's going to be a spoiler. Honestly, I don't know how you could spoil this book with context, except for the ending. I feel like if I told someone the ending, they might... I can't even talk about this anymore. I'm done. I'm finished. Sorry this got so rambly. Happy Halloween. If you made it this far, go ahead and leave a leaf emoji in the comments. And on that note, I'm going to take a sigh of relief, a star off for spite. I will see you in November. November is going to be more writing-centric content. I am going to be participating in not NaNoWriMo, but just writing with the rest of the writing community through the month of November. November will be the month I put a large focus on book 2 of the Solstice Court. If you don't know what that is, all of the information will be in the description below. It's a cozy political fantasy, and now I'm writing the sequel. If you like my writing content, look forward to that. If you don't, go check out the rest of the Spookoplathon. If you haven't, this was the final video in that sequence. But whether you do or not, I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until next time, bye!